Hi there, it's Jen from modernmedicinelady.com and the Empathic Woman system, and welcome back. Obviously, you did whatever it took to get me into your inbox, so thank you so much. I am so glad you're watching. So yesterday I talked about the biggest mistake that we empaths tend to make when it comes to trying to control our empathic abilities. And the short version of it is that we underestimate ourselves and we overestimate the ordinary solutions. So basically we are not giving ourselves enough credit for how different we are, and we are also imagining that solutions that work for ordinary people are going to somehow work for us too. And the bottom line is, for most of us, they just don't cut it. They're just not enough. So today I'm going to explain why I believe this is the case. And I think that there are a couple things about this. You see, the thing is, I've worked with hundreds of highly sensitive empathic women over the years, and what I have noticed is that all of us are special. We are more sensitive, we are more receptive, and we have the ability to receive and pick up information in a way that ordinary people don't. And I think this really affects how we experience the entire world. So first off, we are very receptive. It's like we are finely tuned instruments that can get more information than ordinary people can get. And it's like we have a processor or receiver that can take in the information at a much faster rate, as well as we get so much more information that a lot of times we get overloaded. It's kind of like our hard drive gets maxed out much more quickly because so much information is coming at us on a very fast and regular basis. So as a result of this, we tend to carry a lot more stuff around inside of us than the average person does, and we tend to pick up a lot more than the average person does. On top of that, one of the things that I have noticed both with myself and also with many of the people that I've worked with over the years is that highly sensitive empathic people tend to not have the same kind of energy filters, or some people would call it an aura, or, sort of an outer kind of personal boundary or personal space kind of thing, like that bubble of energy where you've probably felt it when a close talker comes into your personal space and it's almost like you can feel them encroaching on your space. And so with those of us who are highly sensitive, a lot of times our filters are not as sturdy, as strong. There's a certain kind of porousness to them, or even sometimes for various reasons, holes knocked through them so that information can come in. It's as if we were a house and normal people were houses that had windows with like really nice double paned storm windows on them, and we have the holes for the windows. We might even have the frames and stuff, but we have no glass. So for an ordinary person, if there was a windstorm going by, you could look out the window and see it and be aware of it, but you wouldn't be affected by it. But for an empath, as soon as that first little breeze comes by, we can feel it, and it affects us because it will blow stuff right into the house. So if you think about this wind as almost like the emotional climate in the world around us, ordinary people might be able to just watch it and see what's going on, but we're going to be picking up on it in a way that we are much more deeply affected, and it enters us in a way that it doesn't enter regular people and leaves some residue. It leaves something there. And this leads me to explain why I believe the whole just let it go does not cut it for an empath. Because we tend to be so receptive and we tend to be so porous and absorbent, whenever we are in a situation where we are around a lot of other feelings, a lot of emotions, or we're picking up premonitions, it's not like we're just sort of staying separate or detached from it. It's like we become it. We feel it ourselves. We absorb it. And in the same way that if you had a glass of water and somebody dropped a couple drops of India ink into it, it would suddenly turn the water black. It's not like you can suddenly just tell that water, let go of the ink and it's going to change, and it's going to be fine. because those drops of ink have changed the water. And the only way that the water is going to change to something different is by doing something to alter it. But it's not about just, oh, we can separate these things out again. And I think that's the thing for most of us who are highly sensitive and empathic, is that we can't just separate these things out in the way that an ordinary person who might worry about somebody a little bit, but they feel it separately, can just let it go. We, on the other hand, have a tendency to feel it so deeply that it's like it's us that is experiencing it. And the challenge is that we need to manage it from our own insides as opposed to just trying to let it all go. So what this means is that we really need to address things at a much more complicated, well, complicated isn't the right word, but a much more thorough way than the average person does. And it also means that we need to take a couple more steps than the average person does in order to start gaining control over our sensitivity. Because one of the reasons why I believe that the putting the bubble of light up around does not work for an empath is that as long as you have been carrying around a whole bunch of stuff, it's not like putting a jar over it is going to make all of that negativity go away. You know, if you had a bathroom that was filled with a bathtub filled with filthy, filthy water that was really stinky and gross, you could certainly pull the shower curtain on the tub, you could walk out of the room and close the door, but the tub would still be filthy. And that's the thing. We could put a bubble of light around ourselves, but as long as we're not addressing everything that we've already absorbed and picked up, we're going to be feeling those things. And that will also cause us to respond to and resonate with the stuff that is going on in the world outside around us. So that's part of why this is so much more complex for an empath than it is for an ordinary person. So tomorrow I'm going to talk to you about the first step that you can take to start really gaining control over your empathic abilities. And I will say to you, it is the first step, and it is a fairly simple step, but it is not necessarily an easy step, and it is something that is going to be about practice. But it is something that I can also tell you has been life-changing for me. And when I really learned how to master this step, it really was the beginning of everything shifting for me. So please, keep your eyes open on your inbox for tomorrow when I'm going to talk to you about the first step that you can take. And in the meantime, if you haven't already done it, please go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jennifer Moore, Modern Medicine Lady, where you're going to be able to find a lot of resources, a lot of videos where I talk about all kinds of concepts for highly sensitive empathic women. And also I have a bunch of DIY tapping videos. So there's a ton of stuff for you to play with over there. So until tomorrow, I am wishing you peace.